Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Koholoyim La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Bahashim, Rachahakodash, double honors to our apostles and elders, the great millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us his beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh to the best of their ability. This is Achanan the Waf, just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And this is an article on some Edomites, Shedemites, and the Edomite, losing their lives in a car crash. But the point that I wanted to make on it is, these women having that ability to get abroad, they're given that ability from birth. And so as they grow up, they see things going on these television sets. They're being programmed to go about their life and be career women, business women, you know what I'm saying? And all these different things, but they're not taught to be a wife. They're not taught to carry on their family lineage, where the scriptures talks about being fruitful and multiplying. It says 14 girls and a teacher deleted and crashed on way home from tournament as heartbreaking details of the final hours emerged. So they're on their way home from a tournament, but they shouldn't have never even been at the tournament when you really think about it, They should have been at home doing what young women do. And matter of fact, these young women right here, because these are young women, these young women right here should already have at least 2 children, by biblical standards, at least 2 children. That's the minimum. And possibly what a guy is old, because this is their school teacher, right? He's 33, and I think they were like 17, the ages of 16 to 17 or whatever. And a guy like this right here, in the ancient days, he would have had, and matter of fact, even in America, going back, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, a couple of generations back, it wouldn't have been nothing for a man like this to be with a woman of that age. But see, now you're living in these days and times where they treat women like this, or people of this age group, like they're damn children until they're 21. But that wasn't, it wasn't like that in the biblical day. So when we get to talking about the scriptures, and these will be Christians that'll get to talking to you about how disgusting that sounds. But it's in the Bible. It's scriptural. But you're a Christian. What I was in the ancient, well, the Lord changed not. And this is coming back around. You know what I'm saying? When the Israelites come back into power, this is going to be something that's going to be back in movement, so to speak. Because we're going to have those laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh written on our minds and our hearts. And marriages are going to be the way that the Bible said that they're supposed to be. Not some guy getting on bended knee, asking some woman with 3-4 baby daddies to marry, he's just bowing out to something that's used. No, the men are going to have virgins, man. It's going to be his and his only. It's not going to be no, women running around scantily, dressed, talking about a career. No, their career is going to be rearing children. And especially you Edomites, y'all going to be doing what you done to us, chattel slavery. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to become slaves in the kingdom. So you're going to be having babies that's going to belong to us and our children forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, like how you done us. Right. But anyway, let's jump into some of the article. See, yeah, these are childbearing women right here. OK, so it says high school teacher Matt Eckert, 33, was driving an SUV carrying the athletes, when the car struck a tractor trailer. And we all know that man's goings of the Lord. That's that roughly paraphrasing Proverbs 20 and 24. So they was right in the right place at the right time, because the Lord, he kills and he makes alive. So it was a freak accident. No, it wasn't an accident. The Lord set all that up. It says all 5 people in the car died after 2 vehicles smashed into each other on a rural intersection. Now, this happened in Ontario, which is over in Canada, which they're drinking of that wine of Babylon, which I wanted to grab that too, because let's get it right here. Jeremiah 51:7, it says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. See, the nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. So all these nations, what they do, they've done what the Americans do. America has shown the world that these women can do what they want to do. They can hang out all times of night. They can do drugs. They can drink. They can, walk around out here pissy fucking drunk. They can step out of the house at 2 a.m. on their husband, go wherever they want. he can't even question her about it. And, if he's harassing her about it too much, she could call 911 and they'll come and arrest him. All she had to do is say he assaulted me. So you're living in a place where, Esau's wine, overall, Babylon the Great right here in the Americas, which is where the lake of fire is going to be, because you got some camps teaching that the lake of fire is not going to be America. But America has pushed its wine upon all these other nations. That's why when you look at these other countries, a lot of these countries done bowed out. They're just no more than America. You know what I'm saying? Just with their own name. Places like Hong Kong and, South Korea and anybody that's dealing with America. They're pretty much, they become what an American is. They eating that fast food, McDonald's, Taco Bell, you know what I'm saying, a damn Starbucks every fucking where, so, and they have that mindset of war. It's just you think that you're in America no matter where that you go. That's how you know that this is Babylon the Great, right? But let's go back into the article. It says, their SUV was then hit by a second SUV. The driver of the trailer suffered minor injuries. Of course, yeah, because it's a bigger truck. As well as the driver and passenger in the other SUV. So it was meant for this group right here to go out, It's unclear what caused the crash. He probably wasn't paying attention, probably giggling with these, you know what I'm saying? Because he probably had a crush on one or two of them. Or one or two of them, or probably all of them had a crush on him. Because that's just the way that young ladies are, man. You can't tell me that one of these young ladies right here didn't have a crush on this guy. Probably all of them had a crush on this guy. And he was, who knows? He could have been dealing with one of them or two of them on the side. You hearing about all these, teacher and student relationships because they shouldn't be all together like that. The women should be, matter of fact, there's a scripture that talks about that. I think it might be in Titus. I'm not exactly sure. Let me just put this in. Yeah, they're drinking of that wine of Babylon, man. Let me just put in older women. Because even these older women are out here, trying to act like fucking teenagers, man. Let me see. Trying to think how it was worded. Salakia. Oh yeah, it was 1 Timothy 3:2. Matter of fact, let me see. No, that's not the one that I wanted. Bear with me here. Yeah, I think it was in Titus. Yep, it was in Titus. Titus 2 and 4. Oh, no, let me start at verse 3. It says, the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things. And the women of this generation of America, they're not like that. These older women, man, they wilding the fuck out, man. They trying to compete with the younger chicks, man. They trying to compete with these 16-year-olds. It says the mother is trying to compete with her daughter, man, in most cases, man. A lot of these women, they be sleeping with they younger teenage daughters, boyfriends and shit that come to the house. Verse 4, it says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, and to love their children. That's what these young ladies should have been being taught instead of being on a damn road trying to go and play some fucking softball. They're not thinking about they're being taught from the womb to go and have a career. Don't have no children until you're in your 30s or 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like, that goes against what the scriptures is talking about. Because they only generally have 1 or 2 children. And people don't want no kids these days anyway, because that's how wore down Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is what he has worn down everybody, man, especially the saints, man. See, it says to be discreet. This is what they're supposed to be teaching. Let me start from verse 4 again. Titus 2 and 4. That they, the older women, supposed to, says that they may teach the young women to be sober, not out here drunk as fuck, to love their husbands, because that's a rarity these days, to love their children. You know, loving your children is not throwing a damn iPad in their lap and letting them just play damn games all day. You know, it says to be discreet, chastity, keepers at home. This is what these young women should have been taught. Good, obedient to their own husbands. In this day and time, you crazy? And I'm telling you, these people will tell you that they're Christians, but you get to reading stuff like this. Well, yeah, that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemed. But you know, but these are Edomites overall. And I don't want to say it like that because of the look, because there are Israelites that look like so-called white people, because it's not a color thing. But generally, this is some Edomite shit. It's got an Edomite spirit on it, right? But it goes, and you can see all these, you see, when they show up in masses like this right here, like look at this picture. If you can see this picture right here with all them flowers. See, this is how Esau shows up for their people when shit like this happens. You know, Jake, they showing up, you know, with some stupid ass, they all do that stupid balloon shit, you know, candlelight visuals, you know. But anyway, but this is how Edomites show up. You could tell, you could clearly see this is a bunch of damn Edomites. It says all 5 people in the car died after 2 vehicles smashed into each other. We got that already. It's unclear what caused the crash. Probably laughing, giggling, he, and 2 17-year-old girls and a 16-year-old girl were pronounced dead at the scene. The teacher was rushed to the hospital and later died. A 16-year-old girl was flown to the hospital in a helicopter and died. The teenagers killed were identified. Okay, we don't need to know their names and shit like that. Yeah. In the hours before the tragedy, the teens were competing at a local softball tournament, 2-hour drive from their hometown in Walkerton. So they had, this was a road trip. The accident sadly happened just 20 minutes away from the field where they had been playing for the past day. The girls, let me see, they played the final game at 2 p.m. on Friday. The team finished the tournament in second place. Owner Marnie Spencer told the London Free Press, so some obvious, if somebody owns the team, come on, bro. This is not even some high school shit, man. They were so excited to get their medals. Okay. All right. So one of the fathers was one of the coaches of the team. They were, it says, 2 of the girls, they were members of the U18 girls team, coached by, one of the fathers of the girls. Our entire twins family is reeling from this loss and our hardship, all that good stuff. You know how that go. We hope that those suffering can take some solace in the fact that we are truly a softball family. Okay, yeah. Our condolences go out to the families. There's a social worker in attendance. Yeah. Our prayers go out to everyone impacted. Yeah, all that good stuff. Okay, so one of these chicks, she was playing volleyball too. But it's that all that activity in sports and shit like that, man. Look, bro, that shit is not needed, man. You know. But Trump, he's some of these executive orders that he's signing. He's signing executive orders for young women like this right here in the future. They ain't gonna be playing no sports. They gonna be he's setting it up where these women are not gonna be able to survive without a husband. And he's actually paying or trying to pay $5,000 to certain, we already know who it's for the so-called white women to have children, and he's talking about married families. And that don't have anything to do with you so-called black women, especially you Hispanics, Native American women, because you already know You so-called black women, you're not prone to stay with a man. You're not submissive enough to stay with a man. But Trump is breaking down shit where all that Section 8, food stamps, all that, you can talk shit to a man and tell him how much you don't need him. You cuss your mom, you cuss your dad out, you cuss out all your uncles. You burnt bridges with your brothers. See, Trump is about to make that to the point where you're going to be dependent upon a man, but our women are so prideful, they'll prefer to be homeless, man, than to deal with certain people of their household. They won't just be like, well, fuck it, you know what I'm saying? I'm in a bad state. I really need help, because they're so prideful. Nah, fuck them. I would never. All right, well, now you living out of your damn car. And they're so selfish that they'll live out of the car with the children instead of giving the children to their husbands, or what originally would be their husbands is, the first man to have sex with a woman, that's your husband. It's not about getting on bended knee and giving somebody a damn ring, because that's not biblical. You're not going to find that action in the Bible nowhere. You will not find in the Bible nowhere where some guy's getting on bended knee asking some chick to marry him. You're not going to find in the Bible nowhere that little bullshit that these priests be saying, now I pronounce you man and white, all that bullshit. That shit is not in the scriptures, man. That's not biblical. So all these little bullshit idolatry houses that you go to, these churches that set up those little segments and shit where people walking down the aisle and somebody carrying a train or some chick's dress, she ain't even a damn virgin. Or matter of fact, she'll have her a child from another man's relationship, from another relationship, with the little pillow with the fucking ring on it, walking down the aisle, her daughter or her, from another marriage or another whatever, tossing flowers and shit down a damn aisle. That stupid ass music playing. So this is the world that you're living in, man. So, hey, this is why you have to come out of this place. Because, see, this is what the Lord is about to destroy. He's about to tear down this man's kingdom and things like this. This is just a couple of things, you know what I'm saying, that's off as hell in this man's kingdom. This is Micah 2:7. No, Salaki, Micah 2:10. Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, but this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. And this is for you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Drinking of that wine of Babylon and people throwing up all over each other. That's pretty much what this is good. This is like a person staggering, pissy fucking drunk, and don't have no control over nothing. Matter of fact, it's a scripture that talks about, it says, matter of fact, it's a funny ass scripture too. I think it's in Proverbs. It says, who has woe? Let me see. I think, who has woe? I think it's how it, let me see. Or is it depleting? Yep, Proverbs 23 and 29. And this is an example of, now this is, it can be spiritually, but it can be, it's spiritual and it's actual, this can be physical or, but it's Proverbs 23 and 29. It says, who hath woe? Let's get this word woe real quick. In the sense of crying out after, lamentation. Basically, who's crying? Because that word lament goes into crying. It says, who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Bunch of damn talking, right? Contention goes into a bunch of fighting. Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine. They that go to seek mixed wine. See, look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent and stinketh like an adder. And that's what's going on with a lot of these nations. That's what's going on with the people of America for damn sure, because they are saturated. They like them dived over into the fucking pool of wine. Damn Kendrick Lamar, man. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. See? Yea. Thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. See that? That's your average drunkard. They get the asses whooped. They don't know how. Bruises all over them. They don't even feel the shit because overall they so damn inebriated. But when they get up, that's when they feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? They looking in the mirror. They throwing up. They leaning all over the toilet. But yet, Esau in his system, it's like a person that, it's people that have real alcoholic problems, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have real, 12-step processes for people to go to try and, hey, that's a strong ass spirit, man. That spirit of drunkenness, spirit of drinking all the time, getting up and as soon as you get up, you having a drink. You laying down to drinks. That's a real, I had a brother, one of my brother, man, he had the shakes, man, real bad, man. You know what I'm saying? When he couldn't get nothing to drink. I'm talking about his body would be literally withdrawing, like on some shaking shit, like a damn, he didn't do drugs. He wasn't into smoking no marijuana or nothing like that. It was just them drinks, man. He had it bad. But he came into this truth, actually, man, and he don't even drink no more. So, that's why, we definitely need the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But overall, this is going off into a spiritual drunkenness. People are spiritually drunk off the wine of Babylon the Great because these women in another time period, or before they became all Americanized, or before the television and social media and things like that, women were just at home, man. Keeping a nice garden, making sure that food was being, fixed at the proper times for the children, knowing how to sew clothing, make clothing, getting prepared for the winters, keeping good, knew about most medicines from the earth, things of that nature. But Esau, this guy, he done fucked the whole world up. Everything is out of order. Now the women can just go out again. Like I said, they can go out and do what they want to do when they want to do it, and there's nothing that you can do about it. So that's why the apostles always say, why get married in America? Why would you get married to a woman here when she gets all the protection, she gets all the benefits of the marriage, and you get nothing? Because it's all work, no reward. It really is, man. It's not worth it, man. It's not what it used to be. Until we go back into our kingdom, until things come back into the proper place, then we just chilling, man. That Isaiah 4:1 is gonna come soon, though. But this is Isaiah 5:20. It says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." And this is what this man has done. See that word woe again? Lamentations, man. Lament, crying, sorrow. Right? Because it may feel good at first until you figure it out. Like, man, I done fucked up. And that's what's done happened to America. Now, Trump, he's trying to come off in there and, with some executive orders and trying to make America great again. And some of the stuff he's doing, you should have been doing all along, but it's too late. It's too late, bro. And the world is like this now because not only so-called, the so-called black woman, she's done. She is like the mascot of women getting down out here. Just the mascot of it all. But you got women from these Eastern countries, man, that would never do the shit that they doing. They twerking now. Matter of fact, I just came from a real strict so-called Arab community, and as I'm driving through there, hey, them women, they have their hair covered, but guess what? They got on those leggings, bouncing them fat asses. I'm just looking, as I'm driving, like, they everywhere. They all in the park. They wearing those little seductive, stretch suits and shit like that. And they're showing them bodies off, man. They want to show them off. And they be looking at you like, are you seeing me? Straight up. I mean, I'm like, well, damn, but they've come to America. And it's, I guess, that generation of their parents were, a lot more stricter. But as time goes on, you lose that strictness because you are in a country that's not your kingdom. And you don't have no say in the way that things are ran, because even these little Arab chicks, hey, they can call the police and have your ass arrested. You're not gonna do to them what you can do over in the East, in your country. Because and it's only a few of those countries that's really hanging on. You know what I'm saying? As far as they haven't been tainted like that. Like the Taliban taking over Afghanistan. When Joe Biden and them pulled out like 2 years or so ago here. Hey, them women, hey, they was able to drive. They was able to go to universities and go to school, get educated and all that stuff. Shit, when America left there, guess what? That shit was a wrap. Now they can't even go to school no more. They're like, nah, you gonna get your ass in the house and you gonna fucking raise these kids. You gonna be a goddamn woman. You don't need to know how to read, bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's what they like over there. And then what do you see on the news? All these Edomites that have drunk enough that wine, all marching and shit, talking about how inhumane it is for them to be treating those women like that. Well, they was taking. Hey, you go back to your original state. You're not going to be no Americans here. All that American shit that was here. And you have to realize, too, that just before America left there, it was women around this age, 17, 18. All they knew was that freedom because America was over there like 20 years. So say if it was a baby born the year that America went there and they were there 20 years, they grew up with the freedoms of a so-called American woman. But once America up and bounced, and the Taliban took back over, those women, all that little freedom that they knew of, that shit was a wrap. That was a wrap, bro. Straight up. But anyway, I just wanted to just touch on this because, had they not had that freedom to gad abroad, because women are inherently just wicked, man. You know what I'm saying? Like if you get them a little bit of you don't even have to give it to them. They'll find a way. To be sneaky. They're just sneaky, man, by nature. They'll find a way to get down, even in the most strictest places. So just think about a place where you have no guards, no walls up for them. They just able to just literally get out here and get abroad, and they become wicked as shit. And that cycle continues and it spreads. We end out here, Sirach chapter 25 and verse 25. It says, give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. See? If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. See? And you got a lot of divorces here in America because these women, they have that ability to gad abroad. That's why they can easily tell you, I don't need you. And they really don't, because the government would take care of them. They can be as fucked up as they want to be. They don't have to have no accountability. They can just be lazy as fuck. They can do whatever they want to do and still fall back on the government for food stamps and Section 8. But guess what? Trump getting rid of all that shit. And he's really trying to build it up where these so-called white women are going to build up their ranks again because they're dying off quicker than they're being born. So again, when you think about a story like this right here, this guy right here, he should have been knocking all them down. In a biblical setting, all of them could have been his wives, man. He could have had all of them pregnant every year. Easy. He's in the top and prime of his life, so to speak, and they're young and childbearing ages, man. You know what I'm saying? This guy could have easily had all 4 of them pregnant, or 5 of them, or however many it was at this particular age, and they could have all had a baby at the same time, because he could have got all of them pregnant in one day. They could have had their babies all around the same exact time. Let her get some rest. He could have pumped all of them up again. Within 2 years, that would have been like 8 to 10 children. Hell, all of them could have had some twins. You see what I'm saying? But I mean, hey, we speak. It may sound harsh, but hey, we come from the with the spirit, man. Because these people out here that's handling the Bible, and they try and handle it as if the Lord is, like it's just nothing but niceness in the scriptures, man. No, it's some harsh things in the scripture, and especially in a Western mindset. A Western mindset can't handle an Eastern religion, so to speak, as far as like the Bible, because the Bible is an Eastern book. It has nothing to do with McDonald's and cheeseburgers and you being able to hit Disneyland when you want to. No, ain't none of that shit in there, man. The Bible is straight do's and don'ts, law, statutes, and commandments that the Lord was serious about, and that we're going back into, man. So in our righteous state. So when we go back into our righteous state, women like this right here, young women like this, 17, by the time they hit 17, they can easily have 3 kids by that time in our kingdom. Easy. Possibly even 4, 5 maybe. Shit, who knows? Because they're going to be getting pumped up every year. And you have to realize, too, that Esau, the way that Esau treated us during slavery, he actually had mandingos. That's all that guy done. He would have him like 4 or 5 big, strong, so-called black men. But he'll have, 30, 40 women. And he had those same 4 guys, 5 guys pump their asses up and keep them pumped up. And while they having babies, they would still be in the field with a damn baby strapped over their back. Still doing chores. So see, this is the brutality of Esau Edom. But when we say the things we're saying, I can't believe you saying things like that. The Bible is, that was in the ancient. Well, all right. Well, them ancient times are coming back. And these Edomites are going to reap what they've sown. And we're going to have them in that same position. So this is what's coming down the pipe, man. So, I know you just the lesson kind of went a few different ways, but the spirit flows like the wind. You know what I'm saying? Because again, these Edomites should have been in home ec. Are you thinking why you can't hear about them having a bake off? Why you can't hear about them, you know what I'm saying, who has the best pot of stew? Why you can't see them, who made the best baby clothing? No, these motherfuckers is out here swinging a goddamn bat trying to be dudes, man. And this is the career that they want. This is the mindset. They come out of the womb like this. So Esau's system must be broken down, man. Bottom line. So with that, pray that the lesson was edifying. With that, Kwame Yashala and a Bible Ball.